We hear about it all the time, don't we? One minute, we're told that sugar is the ultimate villain, a sweet poison that we should avoid at all costs. The next, we see it celebrated in birthday cakes, festive treats, and the comforting cup of tea that gets us through a tough afternoon. This leaves many of us feeling rather confused. Is sugar truly the enemy it's often made out to be, or is there more to the story? The truth, as is often the case in matters of health and nutrition, is not quite so black and white. It's a bit more complicated than just saying sugar is bad. The real question we should be asking is about quantity, type, and balance. Understanding sugar's role in our diet is incredibly important for our overall well-being. It's not about banning it from our lives completely, which for most people would be very difficult and probably not much fun either. Instead, it's about learning how our bodies use sugar and what happens when we have too much of it. By getting to grips with the facts, we can make sensible, informed choices that work for us and our families. This allows us to enjoy the sweeter things in life without letting them get the better of our health. It's about finding a healthy, happy middle ground where we are in control of our sugar intake, not the other way around. Let's embark on a journey to uncover the sweet truth together. We will explore what sugar actually is, from the simple sugars found in fruit to the complex ones in our staple foods. We'll look at how our amazing bodies cleverly convert it into the energy we need to walk, run, think, and even breathe. This process is truly fascinating and is happening inside us every single second of the day. Gaining this knowledge empowers us to understand the advice we hear from health professionals and to see past the scary headlines that can often cause unnecessary worry and anxiety about the food we eat every day. So, the big question remains, is sugar a friend we can enjoy in moderation, or a foe we must banish entirely? Over the next few sections, we will break down the science in a simple, straightforward way. We will sift through the myths and the facts, giving you the tools you need to build a healthier relationship with sugar. The goal isn't to make you feel guilty about enjoying a biscuit with your cuppa, but to help you understand how to fit those treats into a balanced and healthy lifestyle. By the end, you'll have a much clearer picture, helping you to make the best decisions for your health. When we talk about sugar, most of us probably picture the white crystalline stuff we spoon into our tea or use for baking. That is certainly one type, known as sucrose. But the world of sugar is much bigger than what's in the sugar bowl. Sugars are a type of simple carbohydrate, which are one of the main sources of energy for our bodies. They are molecules made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. You can find them in a huge variety of foods, not just the obviously sweet ones. They are naturally present in fruits, vegetables, and dairy products, providing that pleasant sweet taste that we are naturally drawn to from a very young age. There are several different types of simple sugars. The most common ones you'll hear about are media group, diagram or infographic showing glucose, fructose, and galactose molecules, labeled sugar samples in laboratory dishes at stock distribute _equally, glucose, fructose, and galactose. Glucose is the body's preferred source of energy. It's the main fuel for our brain and muscles. Fructose is often called fruit sugar because it's the main sugar found in fruits and honey. Then you have sucrose, which is the table sugar we know so well. Sucrose is actually made up of one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose joined together. Another common sugar is lactose, or milk sugar, which is found in milk and other dairy products like yogurt and cheese. It's important to realize that sugars are found in so many of the foods that form a core part of a healthy diet. An apple, a glass of milk, or a carrot all contain natural sugars. These foods also come packed with other brilliant things our bodies need, like fiber, vitamins, minerals, and water. The sugar is part of a whole food package, which is very different from the free sugars that are added to foods and drinks. Free sugars are those added by a manufacturer, a cook, or by us at home. They're also the sugars found in honey, syrups, and fruit juices. So when we discuss the health effects of sugar, it's crucial to know which type of sugar we are talking about. The sugar molecule itself might be the same, but the way our body processes it can differ depending on the food it comes from. Is it wrapped up with fiber and nutrients in a piece of fruit, or is it a concentrated dose in a fizzy drink? This distinction is key to understanding why some sources of sugar are better for us than others. It's not the sugar molecule itself that's the problem, but rather the company it keeps and the quantity we consume it in. Think of your body as a high-performance car. Just like a car needs petrol to make the engine run, your body needs fuel to perform all its amazing functions. the primary fuel source for your body is glucose, a simple sugar. When you eat foods containing carbohydrates, including sugars and starches, your digestive system gets to work breaking them down. This process starts in your mouth and continues in your stomach and small intestine. Enzymes chop up the complex carbohydrates into simple glucose molecules, which are small enough to be absorbed into your bloodstream. This is how we get the energy to do everything from running a marathon to simply thinking. Once glucose enters your bloodstream, it's ready to be delivered to every cell in your body. But it can't just walk into the cells on its own. It needs a special key. This key is a hormone called insulin. When your body detects that there is glucose in the blood, your pancreas, a small organ located behind your stomach, releases insulin. Insulin acts like a doorman, unlocking the cell doors and allowing glucose to move from the blood into the cells. Inside the cells, the glucose is then used immediately for energy, powering all your movements, thoughts, and bodily functions. It's a beautifully efficient system. What happens if you take in more glucose than your body needs for energy right away? Our bodies are incredibly clever and have a system for storing this extra fuel for later. With the help of insulin, the liver takes up the excess glucose and stores it in a compact form called glycogen. Your muscles also store glycogen. Think of these glycogen stores as your body's rechargeable battery packs. When your blood sugar levels start to drop between meals or during exercise, your body can quickly break down this stored glycogen back into glucose and release it into the bloodstream to keep your energy levels stable. This entire process of using and storing sugar is vital for our survival. It ensures that our brain, which is a very hungry organ and relies almost exclusively on glucose, has a constant supply of energy to function correctly. It also means our muscles have the fuel they need to keep us moving. So, in its most basic role, sugar isn't a villain at all. It's an essential source of the energy that keeps our bodies running smoothly day and night. The system is designed to be in perfect balance, providing just the right amount of fuel at just the right time. It's a common point of confusion, but it's one of the most important things to understand about sugar. Where it comes from matters a great deal. We can broadly split sugars into two main categories: natural sugars and added sugars. Natural sugars are those that are found intrinsically within whole foods. Think of the fructose in a crunchy apple, the lactose in a creamy glass of milk, or the sucrose in a sweet carrot. These sugars are part of the food's original structure. They come as a package deal, bundled with lots of other beneficial nutrients that our bodies love, such as fiber, vitamins, minerals, and water. Added sugars, on the other hand, are sugars and syrups that are put into foods or drinks during processing or preparation. This includes the sugar you might add to your coffee, the honey you drizzle on your porridge, or the syrups used to sweeten fizzy drinks, biscuits, cakes, and ready meals. Even seemingly healthy foods like some breakfast cereals, sauces, and yogurts can contain a surprisingly large amount of added sugar. These are often called free sugars because they are not locked inside a food's cellular structure. This category also includes the sugars naturally present in honey, syrups, and unsweetened fruit juices. The reason this distinction is so important comes down to how our bodies handle them. When you eat a piece of fruit, the fiber in it slows down the absorption of the natural sugar. This means the sugar enters your bloodstream more gradually, giving your body more time to react and preventing a sudden sharp spike in blood sugar levels. The fiber also helps you feel full, which can prevent you from overeating. This combination of nutrients works together harmoniously, providing a steady release of energy and a host of other health benefits that support your overall well-being and digestive health. In contrast, foods and drinks high in added sugars often lack these helpful nutrients like fiber. A sugary drink, for example, delivers a large amount of sugar to your system very quickly, as there's nothing to slow down its absorption. This can cause a rapid spike in blood sugar, followed by a crash that can leave you feeling tired and craving more sugar. Because they don't make you feel full in the same way, it's very easy to consume a large number of calories from added sugars without even realizing it. This is why health guidelines focus on limiting our intake of free sugars, not the sugars found in whole fruit and milk. While sugar is a necessary source of energy, there is a clear tipping point where consuming too much, particularly too much added sugar, can have a negative impact on our health. One of the most well-known consequences is weight gain. Foods and drinks high in added sugar are often high in calories but low in other important nutrients. Because they don't tend to make us feel full, It's easy to consume more calories than our body needs. Over time, the body stores these excess calories as fat, which can lead to becoming overweight or obese, increasing the risk of many other health problems. A diet consistently high in sugar can also significantly increase your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. When you regularly consume large amounts of sugar, your body has to release a lot of insulin to help move the glucose from your blood into your cells. Over time, your cells can become less responsive to insulin's signal, a condition known as insulin resistance. This forces your pancreas to work even harder to produce more insulin. Eventually, it may not be able to keep up, leading to persistently high blood sugar levels and the onset of type 2 diabetes, which is a serious, lifelong condition. Let's not forget about our teeth. Sugar is a major culprit when it comes to tooth decay and cavities. There are bacteria that live in our mouths, and they absolutely love to feed on sugar. When they consume sugar, they produce acid as a waste product. This acid attacks the hard outer layer of our teeth, the enamel. Over time, repeated acid attacks can wear away the enamel, creating a hole or a cavity. The more frequently you consume sugary foods and drinks, especially between meals, the more often your teeth are exposed to these harmful acid attacks, increasing your risk of dental problems. Beyond these well-known issues, excessive sugar intake is linked to a range of other health concerns. It can contribute to high blood pressure, inflammation, and an increase in unhealthy fats in the blood, such as triglycerides. All of these are risk factors for heart disease, which is one of the leading causes of death worldwide. Some research also suggests links between very high sugar diets and an increased risk of certain cancers and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's clear that while a little sugar is fine, an excess can set off a cascade of negative effects throughout the body. Let's take a closer look at the journey sugar takes once you eat it and the immediate effects it has on your body. Imagine you've just enjoyed a sweet, sugary donut. The simple sugars in that donut are digested and absorbed into your bloodstream very quickly. This causes a rapid increase in your blood glucose level, often referred to as a sugar rush or a sugar spike. In response to this sudden surge of glucose, your pancreas springs into action, releasing a large amount of the hormone insulin to help manage the situation and get that glucose into your cells for energy. The large insulin release does its job very effectively, sometimes a little too effectively. It quickly shuttles the glucose out of your bloodstream and into your cells. This can cause your blood glucose levels to drop quite sharply. This sudden drop is what we often call a sugar crash. It can leave you feeling tired, irritable, shaky, and foggy-headed. What's more, it can trigger cravings for another quick sugar fix to bring your energy levels back up. This can lead to a roller coaster-like cycle of sugar spikes and crashes throughout the day, which isn't great for your mood, concentration, or overall energy levels. This process is handled differently when the sugar comes from a whole food, like an orange. The orange contains fiber, which acts like a sponge in your digestive system. It slows down the breakdown of carbohydrates and the release of sugar into the bloodstream. As a result, your blood glucose level rises much more gently and steadily. This means your pancreas doesn't need to release a massive surge of insulin. Instead, it releases a smaller, more measured amount. This leads to a more stable blood sugar level, providing you with sustained energy without the dramatic rush and subsequent crash. Understanding this mechanism is key to managing your energy and health. By choosing sources of carbohydrate that release their sugar slowly, you can avoid the blood sugar roller coaster. This means favoring whole fruits over fruit juices, and whole grains like oats and brown bread over refined white bread and sugary cereals. It's not about eliminating sugar, but about choosing the form that is kinder to your body's finely tuned blood sugar management system. This simple switch can make a huge difference to how you feel throughout the day, keeping your energy and mood on a much more even keel. After discussing the potential harms of too much sugar, it might seem strange to then say that we actually need it. But it's true. In its most basic form, glucose, sugar is the single most important source of fuel for every single cell in our body. It's particularly crucial for our brain. The human brain is an incredibly energy-intensive organ, and it relies on a steady, constant supply of glucose to function properly. This energy powers our thoughts, memories, and ability to learn and concentrate. Without enough glucose, you might experience brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and headaches. Our muscles also depend heavily on glucose for energy, especially during physical activity. When you go for a run, lift weights, or even just walk up the stairs, your muscles use glucose to contract and power your movements. For athletes or anyone engaging in strenuous exercise, consuming carbohydrates, which break down into glucose, is essential for performance and endurance. The glycogen stores in our muscles and liver, which are made from glucose, are the body's go-to energy reserve for high-intensity activities. Replenishing these stores after exercise with carbohydrates is vital for muscle recovery and preparation for the next workout. Furthermore, completely eliminating all forms of sugar from your diet would be incredibly difficult and would mean cutting out many highly nutritious foods. Fruits, vegetables, and dairy products all contain natural sugars, but they also provide essential vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidants that are vital for good health. Avoiding these foods in an attempt to avoid all sugar would likely do more harm than good, as you would miss out on these crucial nutrients that protect against disease and support overall bodily function. The benefits of these whole foods far outweigh any concerns about their natural sugar content. So, sugar in the right form and quantity is not just okay, it's essential for life. It provides the immediate energy we need for our brains to think and our bodies to move. The focus of a healthy diet shouldn't be on achieving a zero sugar intake. Instead, the goal should be to get our sugar from the best possible sources, primarily from whole foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, and to limit the amount of free or added sugars we consume. It is about prioritizing nutrient-dense foods that provide sustained energy and a wealth of other health benefits. Managing your sugar intake doesn't have to mean a complete diet overhaul or giving up all the foods you love. It's about making small, smart swaps and becoming more mindful of where hidden sugars might be lurking. A great first step is to check the labels on the foods you buy. Look at the carbohydrates of which sugars line in the nutritional information panel. A food is considered high in sugar if it has more than 22.5 grams of total sugars per 100 grams. Also, check the ingredients list. Ingredients are listed in order of weight, so if sugar, or one of its many other names like glucose syrup or dextrose, is near the top, the product is likely high in added sugar. One of the easiest ways to cut down on added sugar is to reconsider your drinks. Fizzy drinks, sweetened fruit juices, and sugary coffees can contain a huge amount of free sugar without you even realizing it. Swapping these for water, milk, or unsweetened tea and coffee can make a massive difference to your daily sugar intake. If you find water a bit plain, try infusing it with slices of lemon, cucumber, or mint for a refreshing, sugar-free flavor boost. This simple change alone can help you cut out a significant source of empty calories and free sugars from your diet. When it comes to meals and snacks, focus on whole foods. Start your day with plain porridge or a whole grain cereal and add your own fruit for sweetness, rather than choosing a pre-sweetened variety. For snacks, reach for a piece of fruit, a handful of nuts, or some plain yogurt instead of biscuits, cakes, or chocolate bars. When you're cooking at home, you have complete control over the ingredients. Try reducing the amount of sugar in your usual recipes by a quarter or a third. You might be surprised to find you don't even miss it. Using spices like cinnamon or vanilla can also add sweetness without adding sugar. Finally, remember that it's all about balance and moderation, not deprivation. It's perfectly fine to enjoy a treat now and then. The key is to see these foods as occasional indulgences rather than everyday staples. If you decide to have a piece of cake at a birthday party, enjoy it without feeling guilty. By making healthier choices most of the time, you create a balanced diet that has room for the occasional sweet treat. This sustainable approach is much more likely to lead to long-term success and a healthy, happy relationship with all types of food, including the sweet ones. In the end, the answer to our original question, is sugar really bad for your health, is all about context and quantity. Sugar itself is not an evil substance. It is a simple carbohydrate that our bodies, and especially our brains, need for fundamental energy. The problems arise not from sugar itself, but from the excessive consumption of free or added sugars, which are often found in highly processed foods and drinks that offer little other nutritional value. These are the types of sugars that can contribute to weight gain, tooth decay, and an increased risk of chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. The key to a healthy relationship with sugar lies in distinguishing between different sources. The natural sugars found in whole fruits, vegetables, and dairy products come packaged with fiber, vitamins, and minerals. These additional nutrients slow down sugar absorption, provide sustained energy, and offer a multitude of other health benefits. Therefore, these foods should be a regular part of our diet. In contrast, added sugars provide what are often called empty calories, contributing to our energy intake without providing the essential nutrients our bodies need to thrive. It is these added sugars that we should aim to limit. Adopting a balanced approach is far more effective than attempting to eliminate sugar completely. By making simple swaps, like choosing water over fizzy drinks, snacking on fruit instead of sweets, and being mindful of food labels, we can significantly reduce our intake of added sugars without feeling deprived. Cooking at home more often also gives us control over what goes into our food. This mindful, moderate approach allows us to enjoy the occasional treat as part of an overall healthy eating pattern, fostering a positive and sustainable relationship with food for the long term. Ultimately, finding the sweet spot is about empowerment through knowledge. By understanding what sugar is, how our body uses it, and the difference between its various forms, we can move beyond the confusing headlines and make informed choices that are right for our own health and well-being. Sugar doesn't have to be a foe. When we respect its power, prioritize whole food sources, and enjoy treats in moderation, we can ensure that sugar plays a sensible and enjoyable role in our balanced diet. It's not about a war on sugar, but about making peace with it on our own terms.